Future is bright. Well, it should be soon for one Justin Crawford. Now, if you watched the PHLY trade deadline special yesterday, there was a quote from Dave Dombrowski that really, really got under my skin. It grinded my gears, if you will, when it came to Justin Crawford. And what basically Dave Dombrowski said, and I'm going to try to find the quote word for word, but I'll paraphrase until I do so. He said last night that Justin Crawford is big league ready, and he believes he is a major league caliber player and would not hesitate to call him up. He said, however, they don't have the playing time for him at this point today. Said that Max Kepler is going to play left. Bader's here. Rojas is still here. Marsh is still here. Otto Kemp's still here. And basically what Dave Dombrowski told me is that Justin Crawford is good enough to be a major leaguer, but they believe that if he's going to be on the big league roster, he has to play every day, and they are going to stick, at least at this current juncture, with what they have. And if you watched the trade deadline show yesterday, there was a visceral, guttural scream that came out of it was somewhere deep inside, like the recesses of my belly, if you will. And if you've watched the show in the past, you know I'm not a overly reactionary guy. I'm not a crazy hot take guy. I don't come in here and spit venom into the microphone and scream about a whole lot. It's just not the way that I do things. That scream, that tilt my head back and needed to get that out, came from a place of frustration. And where that frustration came from is at this point, I don't know what else the Phillies want Justin Crawford to do. Justin Crawford this season in AAA Lehigh Valley is hitting .325. He's slashing .325, .411, .426, .836. He's got 3 home runs this year, 24 extra base hits, 31 RBI. He's stolen over 30 bags, 33 to be exact, and has only struck out 69 times in 83 games. To go a little bit deeper, he has 31 multi-hit games this season. In fact, you dive a little bit deeper than that, he has 10 games of 3 hits or more. Let's get into some of the nerd numbers, and then we'll talk a little bit more surface level stuff. He has a WRC plus, which is weighted runs created plus, of 122 or better at every level of the minor leagues that he has played at. To give you a kind of an understanding of what that is, it's the league average is 100, and he's been at 122 or better every stop of the way. Since 2023, he's hit no worse than 288 throughout the Phillies minor league system. His hard hit percentage this year is 40.5%. Major League Baseball average is about 35%. His strikeout rate's 18%. Major League Baseball's average is about 23%. What does Justin Crawford do well? He gets on base. He has ability to steal bags. He's an elite base runner. He's a very good defender, and he's an excellent athlete with good bat-to-ball skills who has the ability to spray the ball in all directions. I'm not exactly sure what else the Phillies want in Justin Crawford other than the fact that he doesn't hit the ball for power and he doesn't hit home runs. And you can sit here and tell me that his launch angle metrics are bad and his power really is non-existent. And it's a fair statement to make. It's real. It exists. His ISO this season, and ISO is isolated power, and basically what you do with ISO is you take the slugging percentage of a player, subtract it from the batting average, and that's what the ISO comes out to be, and it gives you kind of a raw, pure power number. His isolated power this year is 100. I understand that that is low. I understand that his career trajectory probably is not going to be much more than that. He's a guy who puts the ball on the ground a lot. He's a guy who uses his legs and his speed to beat out base hits. He's a guy who kind of sprays the ball all over the field. He doesn't swing and miss a lot, but the power I don't think is ever going to really develop into much further. I totally get that. If Justin Crawford hits 10 home runs in a season over 162 games, I think that's a good number because that's not the player that I'm expecting him to be. And I also recognize that Justin Crawford this season has a 4.02 BABIP. First and foremost, that's going to come down when he gets to the major league level as defenses continue to get better and better as he progresses through the ranks. The defense at the major league level is at the elite echelon. There's no question about it. The league average for BABIP is about 300, which means when Justin Crawford puts the ball in play, he's getting on base a lot based on the balls that he puts in play. That number surely is going to come down throughout the trajectory of his career. He's gotten a little bit, 402 tells you he's getting a little bit lucky with the balls that he's putting in play, but he is also forcing defenses' hands by using his speed after putting the ball in play. The swing track thing is a real argument. The power numbers are real arguments. The fact that he has to play every day if he gets called up is a real argument. But at this point, knowing what you have at the major league level, knowing that there is a guy in Max Kepler who probably at this point should be designated for assignment, knowing that you have a guy in Johan Rojas who struggles consistently to hit major league pitching, knowing that you have potentially 2 platoon pieces or positions in your outfield heading into the postseason, I'm not exactly sure what else the Phillies need to see to give the kid an opportunity to run with the left field position every day. If you offered me a solution of Justin Crawford in left, Marsh Bader platoon in center, or flip it and say Crawford Marsh platoon in left and Bader in center based on the matchups, knowing that Crawford gets an opportunity to play more times than not, that's an opportunity that I would take. I am not asking Justin Crawford to come in here and set the world on fire. I'm not asking Justin Crawford to come in here and be the catalyst difference maker that this offense is lacking. I'm not asking Justin Crawford to come in here and hit first or second in this lineup. But I think having an opportunity to play every day at the big league level for a guy who consistently hits above 300 pretty much everywhere that he goes, including this season where he's hitting, again, 325 at the AAA level, for a guy who has not hit below 282 at any level at the professional level, where his averages so far through the course of his career have gone 297 at the Florida Complex League, 344 in low A, 288 at high A, 332 in 2023 spring training, 302 at high A in 2024, 333 at double A in 2024, 313 in spring training in 2024, and 325 this year in AAA. I think there's a reasonable ask that Justin Crawford should have already been a major leaguer. And Rich Hoffman pointed this out yesterday and in the newsletter too. The runway probably should have been in May, not gearing up for the postseason. I 100% agree. I think it's unfair to ask a 21-year-old kid to come up in the midst of a postseason run and be a contributor. But I think at this point, his numbers are undeniable that he deserves an opportunity to play at the major league level, especially knowing what you have currently and have had for a majority of the regular season. If Max Kepler were hitting 250, that's all I'm asking for would be 250. I don't think we have this conversation. Because if he were at 245, 250, and his home run totals, instead of being at, I don't know, what's he at, 10, 12 home runs? If his home run totals were closer to 17, 18, and he drove in 45 instead of 33, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. Because I think Max Kepler would play every day. Or, now that you have Harrison Bader, you'd platoon Kepler and Marsh and play Bader in center. And that's your 3. That's your circle of 3, but there'd be 1 platoon instead of 2. I think underwhelming is a slight to the word underwhelming when it comes to Max Kepler. I think underwhelming is a slight to underwhelming when it comes to Johan Rojas. Brandon Marsh has swung the bat better over the last couple of weeks. There's no question about it. He's been a really pleasant surprise, and his defense has been pretty good the last, especially in that series against the White Sox. But I think knowing what I know about Justin Crawford and knowing what the limitations are, I think the good outweighs the bad.